I am so excited that you're here because, as you know, I love talking about money. And I also feel so strongly that it's absolutely completely unnecessary to suffer about money. We have all been limited to some extent by negative programming around money. But the fact is that we are now adults who can now choose what kind of relationship we're going to have with money. It's time to get over our limited thinking and to live our lives joyfully and abundantly. So these first few sessions have really been focused around supporting you in developing an awareness of the habitual beliefs and behaviors you have with money that aren't serving you, so that you can begin to dismantle those beliefs. I just want to reassure you that it's really common to experience some shifting and shaking as you are clearing out the old to make space for the new. And that if you're experiencing this on any level, it's actually a good thing. The work that we're doing together is called growth for a good reason. Sometimes growth is not easy. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. And sometimes it's actually fun, and the opening of our awareness comes easy. But, however, that growth is occurring for you. And know that it's necessary and important part of the evolution in consciousness that we are co-creating together. You are creating space for a new relationship with money to emerge, and that requires some expansion. And this process that I'm taking you through is one that I've been through many times in my life. Sometimes the tears and the messy stuff is just what is needed to really detangle from the relationship we had with money. But what's on the other side of that letting go is so beautiful. So thank you for being committed to your own growth and your own expansion. I really honor you for that, and I appreciate you for being here. Now, I want to talk to you today about how to navigate contrast, which is the experience of wanting something, like more money, while also having the realization that you don't yet have what you want. So when you don't know how to navigate contrast, it can really knock you off your game. But when you understand the real value of contrast, you can use this experience to strengthen your energetic connection with the abundance that you do desire. So I'll give you a couple of quick examples of this from my own life. About 20 years ago, when I first started applying the universal principles of creation to my relationship with money, I was living in the Bay Area. I was $60,000 in debt and renting a room in a very small ant-infested house because I couldn't afford to lease my own apartment. One of the earliest manifestations that came through as a result of working with the law of attraction is that I started working with a recruiter who found me a job working for Pepsi-Cola in Sacramento. And I didn't really want the job, but I also recognized it as a manifestation that was consistent with the changes I wanted to make in my life. And I really saw it as a way to begin getting out of debt and turning my financial situation around. So I got the job and moved out to my own one-bedroom apartment, and I was so excited because things were really starting to click into place. After living in a single room for many months, I loved the process of decorating my new apartment. And I used to love going into a store called Artful Living because the energy there was just so beautiful. I'd stroll up and down the aisles looking at all the different candles and pieces of art, and the act of doing that really kind of fed and it really enhanced my experience of abundance. So one evening, I'm at this store, and I happened to look up, and there was a painting of a goddess that just moved me at the core of my being. I had been working with my goddess and really working with that. So I asked this, it just moved me, it just expanded me. I was so attracted to this picture. So I asked the person how much it was, and she said $850. Well, as hard as I tried to justify that purchase in my mind, I just could not wrap my head around spending $850 on a painting. And besides, I couldn't have if I wanted to because all of my credit cards were totally maxed out. But the energy of that painting was so inspiring that I knew it held something for me. So even though I accepted that buying it was not a possibility for me in the moment, I allowed myself to stay inspired by it, to continue to be moved by its beauty and the energy. In other words, I stayed connected to the essence of my desire and wanting it, while at the same time recognizing that the timing was just not right for me to buy it. The very next day, I went into Pier 1 Imports, and I happened to be walking around the frame section where they have different pictures, and I couldn't believe it. I ran into the same exact goddess portrait for $120. So, of course, I bought it. This was one of my very first lessons on how staying connected to the essence of a desire brings the desire to fruition quickly and effortlessly. And I still have that picture. And to this very, very day, every time I look at it, I immediately get reconnected with that essence of myself. And it reminds me that even when I make a conscious choice not to purchase something, I can still really stay in the energetic resonance with the having of it. So another great example of this is years later, Frederick and I took a trip to Las Vegas, and we're kind of window shopping through some of the fantastic and yet really expensive, beautiful little shops that are in Las Vegas. And we walked into a Black Label Ralph Lauren store, didn't know if you know that existed, and I saw this unbelievably beautiful white flowing dress with long flowing sleeves. It was just fantastically, amazingly beautiful. So I tried it on, and Frederick was like, "Oh my God, that dress is amazing." And I was like, yeah, it's $1,800. And I can't do it. The truth was, I could have done it. I had the money, but I didn't want to. I respect my money too much to spend $1,800 on a dress. I handed the dress back to the salesperson, but kept the feeling of wearing the dress. Oh, like I just felt so alive in that dress. It felt so much like a goddess. And less than a month later, I'm back in Montreal. I'm out shopping one day, and all of a sudden I look out of the corner of my eye, and there's a very similar dress to the one that I tried on in Vegas. And it was on sale again for $120. I tried it on and felt the exact same feeling I felt when I was wearing the one that cost over 10 times as much. The point here is that the things we desire can be manifested through countless different channels. So when something is a no for you, like the painting and the dress were for me, just know that you don't need to go and interpret this as a sign of lack or insufficiency. Just stay with the feeling essence of how you will feel in the having of it. And know that the universe has the power to bring it to you or something even better in hundreds of different ways. These are the types of experiences that will really start to unfold for you. So it's important that you know how to recognize them for what they are. They're not opportunities to disregard your no because you feel like you have to prove that you're abundant. Pay attention to the no. Honor your no, while at the same time maintaining the feeling essence of already having what it is you want. What you'll begin to notice is that unexpected doors will start to open. Someone will suddenly give you something that you've been wanting because they bought two by mistake or because they don't need it anymore. There are so many ways for money to enter our lives, and our only work is to stay connected in the vibration of having rather than wanting. When you're in the flow and connected to the essence of abundance, you align yourself with the power of the unknown. You don't have to manage how or when or where or from whom it's going to show up. You just have to be in the space of trusting that it's on its way. Said another way, creating money is not about increasing your effort so you can find it. It's more about releasing the energy of limitation and then allowing yourself to abide in the essence of abundance. So in our next session, I'm going to guide you through a beautiful process of connecting to that essence of abundance that will really help you stay connected to that essence even in those moments when you become aware that you can't afford to buy that painting or that dress in this red hot minute. Connecting to that essence energy is what will bridge the gap between where you are now and where you are in the process of creating. So stay tuned for that one. There's just really one more important distinction, that money that I want to share with you so that you can begin to noticing it for yourself in your own life over the next couple of days. And that is that idea that, like all the opposing forces in the universe, money also has a natural ebb and flow. The energy of money is like in all abundant things in nature. The seasons move through 4 seasons: winter, spring, summer, and fall. Fall and winter are the time of the ebb. The spring and the summer are the time of the flow. There's a natural, predictable rhythm behind the change of seasons. The same is true of the ocean. The tide comes in, the tide goes out. The time to surf is at a high tide, and the time to contemplate surfing is when the tide is low. If our actions run counter to this natural rhythm, nature does not support our efforts. Money also has a rhythm. It's got an ebb and it's got a flow. At certain times throughout our lives and throughout each month, or at particular times during the year, there will be more ebb and other times there will be more flow. Even after all these years of creating an amazing relationship with money, I still have an ebb and I still have a flow. But here's the difference. As a deliberate creator, I get to play with that ebb and flow because I understand them for what they are. And I understand that both sides of the coin, so to speak, are evidence of my abundance. I remember going to Jamaica years ago and seeing how the water just gently lapped up upon the shore in these calm little waves. And then I went to Hawaii, where there was just huge monstrosity waves crashing so powerfully against the shore that you can almost feel the earth move. Each ocean has its own spectrum of ebb and flow. And within each one of them, no matter how powerful or how still, there's still a low tide and a high tide. What's important is to be able to recognize these times and to maintain a consistent connection with our fabulous relationship with money during both the high times and the low times. So I invite you to play with these concepts this week and to start to embrace that money is an energy that has a natural ebb and a flow, just like any other force in nature. Learning to ride the waves of contrast, which means feeling abundant even when the time is not right to buy the dress. It becomes so much easier when you're connected to your energetic relationship with money. That connection will see you through the high times and the low times. So have fun creating money, and I'll see you in our next session.
Thank you for watching this video. If you'd like to know more, check out the video and the playlist here. Stay tuned for more videos on this, and subscribe and click that notification bell to be notified of my uploads. See you next time.